Good afternoon. I would like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Birmingham City Commission on October 6th here in the municipal building at 151 Martin at 4:30 p.m., which is unusual for us. And if you will all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Ms. Bingham, would you please call the roll? And we have been notified that Commissioners Long and Schaefer are on their way.
Mayor Therese Long.
Here.
Mayor Clinton Ballard.
Here.
Commissioner Emmerine.
Here.
Commissioner Hay.
Here.
Commissioner Host.
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Long is not here right now, and Commissioner Schaefer not here right now, but I'll note their arrival times.
Thank you very much. We begin with proclamations, congratulatory resolutions, awards, appointments, resignations, confirmations, administrations of oaths, introduction of guests, and announcements. We have no announcements this afternoon, so we will move to appointments. Our first appointments are to the Museum Board. We have two applicants, Ms. Judith Kiefer and Mr. Andrew McMecken. Ms. Kiefer, if you would please like to come to the podium and let us know why you would like to continue to serve, and if you could perhaps address the reasons that you were, the extenuating circumstances about why you were not able to be with us the previous times. And the reason we asked you to appear is because generally reappointments are fairly routine, except that there were some questions about your attendance and contributions. We do note that we have two letters in the packet supporting your reappointment. So with that.
I'll start with the difficult news. My partner has cancer, two cancers actually, two different ones. So we've been through the last several months, almost a year now, I think. It's been difficult. It was the last minute, he's in trouble, I've got to get him to Beaumont. And that happened here. You experienced it. I've experienced it with museum board meetings. Fortunately, our wonderful director and her dynamic staff keep us all apprised. So if one can't attend a meeting, which is a public affair, you know that a lot of things are done behind the scenes and in preparation for that. And I've been active all the way through. I've been on the board maybe about 10 years. Hopefully I'll be around for another 10. It's a real work in progress, which is fabulous because we are not static. Our team, which I feel the museum staff, is always looking for ways that we can engage the city. And we've had some really crazy stuff that's brought people in. One of my favorite one is, for a while, the staff would put forth online a series of recipes that were common in the day. And the public got to vote on which recipe they were going to cook and eat in front of the public, of course. My favorite was potted hare, which is canned rabbit. And it was hilarious. And it brought people in and engaged them in the city that think maybe museums are dry. We've been working recently about getting our strategic plan. I don't think you've received yours yet, your copy, but you will soon. It's been quite a journey, but I think we've done a great job. Thanks again to the staff, because they do the preponderance of work. At any rate, if I'm not at a meeting, just as if any other person isn't at a meeting that's a board member, Leslie, our director, makes sure we're engaged. We talk quite frequently, and if there's an issue that she thinks is coming up, she lets me and everybody else know so we can chew on it. So I anticipate a wonderful future for our museum. And engaging more and more people who live here. That's it. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Kiefer? All right, thank you very much. And do we have Mr. McMecken? I do not see him in the room or online. So with that, would we like to make a nomination? Commissioner Emmerine.
I'd like to, the museum board's very important, 10 years, repeat customer, if you will. Thank you so much for all the work you put in to date. I'd like to nominate Ms. Judy Kiefer, to appoint Ms. Judy Kiefer as a regular member to serve the remainder of a 3-year term to expire July 5th, 2027.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Kiefer. If you will please remain while we continue on with our appointments this afternoon. Our next appointment is to the Advisory Parking Committee. We have a term for a regular member, small retail, to serve the remainder of a 3-year term expiring September 4th, 2028. And we have Patricia Hardy.
Hi.
Ms. Hardy.
Hi, nice to be here. So I have had some municipal experience in the past, living in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan for almost 49 years. I served on the Planning Commission for about 10 years, and then I ran for the City Commission and served for 12. I have never been on a parking committee before. And because I have some extra time in my life right now, I heard that there was an opening. And I'm very concerned because I am an owner of a small business. It's called Harp's Lingerie, down the street from the Birmingham Theater. Everybody knows where that is. And I'd really like to be involved. And maybe collectively we can get some great ideas to improve parking. That's kind of my story.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Hardy? Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Bowler.
More of a comment than a question. I mean, I could phrase it a question, but I'm not out to embarrass you or anything. I want to encourage you to read all of the documentation, especially. Most recently, we kind of revised, amended the goals, the role of the parking committee. So it's important to understand what the parking committee is responsible for and what it's not responsible for. And so, and it's possible that 2 of the members who are on that parking committee are running for city commission right now. So it's possible you might have a smaller board and more people, and it's important that everybody on that board and every board in town is aware of what their role is and keeps that in mind as they fulfill their duties.
I promise to do that.
I would say role and scope.
Well, right.
Yeah. So, any other questions? All right, nomination?
Be delighted to nominate Patricia Hardy to the Advisory Parking Committee as a regular member, small retail, to serve the remainder of a 3-year term expiring September 4th, 2028.
All in favor? All right. Any opposed? Thank you, and if you will also remain.
I will. Thank you.
All
very
right,
much.
and now we move to the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have 2 terms for regular members to the Board of Zoning Appeal to serve 3-year terms to expire October 10, 2028, and we have 2 incumbent applicants. The first is Mr. Richard Lilly.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and your interest in continuing to serve, sir.
Yes, I've been on the board for, I think, 5 years now, and I've been a resident of Birmingham since 1960, and I also volunteer with the Birmingham Shopping District. I'm on the Special Events Committee, and I volunteered for the Dream Cruise for 29 out of the 30 years. And I manage the volunteers and the car park grid. And so I do some other volunteer work at Cranbrook, and I enjoy the work with the Board of Zoning Appeals because I've learned a lot, and I think I can bring a valid perspective, not being an attorney, a real estate broker, architect or whatever. I'm kind of the only lay person on the board, if you will.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lilly? Mayor Pro Tem Fowler.
What did you do before retirement?
I was in the automotive industry for 50 years. The last 30, I was an independent. I specialized in supply-based market research, not consumer research. And my niche was the light vehicle wheel market. I'm considered the global expert in light vehicle wheels. That and $4 will get you a Starbucks.
Probably 5.
Probably.
Inflation. You haven't been in a Starbucks lately.
No, I haven't.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Lilly? All right, thank you, sir. And then our next applicant is Mr. Ron Reddy. Is Mr. Reddy here? I don't see him in person or online, but he has also served since 2019. My apologies. He sent us a letter noting that he was not available this afternoon, that he's traveling, but I don't know if the commission members all saw his letter, giving the reasons why he wishes to continue to serve.
Is that in the packet?
Yes, it is in the packet. I'm just finding it. It is,
Right, page
Got it.
yes.
38.
I'd like to
Mayor
nominate.
Pro Tem,
Happy to nominate Richard Lilly as a regular member to serve a 3-year term, Board of Zoning Appeals to serve a 3-year term expiring October 10th, 2028.
Commissioner Host.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Ron Reddy to be appointed as a regular member of the Board of Zoning Appeals to serve a 3-year term to expire October 10th, 2028.
All right, all in favor of Mr. Lilly?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All in favor of Mr. Reddy?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, now we move to the Historic District Commission. We have an HDC appointment and a DRB appointment, which are somewhat intertwined and usually held by the same person. We have 2 applicants for HDC, Mr. Michael Willoughby, who would be the returning architect position after serving for 15 years. And I do not see him here or online. Did you know, Ms. Bingham, whether he was available?
Let me just double check.
I believe that Jana, Mr. Dupuis spoke to him about continuing to serve.
He did, and he indicated he was interested and sent in his application. I
Yes.
did not hear if he could or could not attend tonight.
All right, and so he has applied for that position and for the DRB position, which he also holds and has held for 15 years. And then we have, assuming Mr. Willoughby is not available, we also have a new applicant, Mr. Ben Motel.
Motel.
Motel?
Motel, just like hotel.
Motel, all right, thank you, Mr. Motel.
Yes, it's Polish, I'm sorry.
Willoughby was just in writing.
Okay, thank you. So if you'd like to tell us why you're interested in serving, Mr. Motel.
Yeah, I've been a resident of Birmingham since 2009. My wife owns a business in Birmingham. She's a dentist. Her sister, who has a separate practice in the same office, is also there. So I just want to give back to the community. I've been thinking about it, what ways I can help. I'm an architect at Smith Group in downtown Detroit. I've been practicing for 17 years. Been doing mostly healthcare architecture for the past 10 years. But I've done everything under the sun in terms of corporate or commercial work. I mean, higher education, bank headquarters, automotive, you name it. But I've been focusing on healthcare. And just, being in the city and walking around and, having my experience from living and studying in Philadelphia, understanding historic architecture there, which is much different from here, what my eye can lend a hand. I feel like I have a special trait since I wasn't trained by the same professors at U of M or Lawrence Tech University. I went away to school and came back, and I have a different perspective on things, and design is my life. I'm a lead designer, a project designer for all my projects. big and small.
Any questions for Mr. Motel? Mayor Pro Tem?
Would you be willing to serve on another board? I'm sure the city manager could give us a list of the boards where we require architects and don't
Well, the
have them
Architectural
right
Review Board has an opening.
now. The Architectural Review Board.
And
Didn't
Design Review
multimodal,
Board.
was that one just recently? where We appointed
multimodal-
someone who was not an architect?
Well, it wasn't required to be an architect. It was required to be someone with planning or design experience. So it could be an architect.
Are there other?
The Design Review Board, there's 3 openings and only 1 applicant. It's also an opportunity.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm getting my foot in the
Mr.
door.
Willoughby had,
Yeah.
had served for 15 years. I've known him for 30
Exactly.
years. He's hit the ground running. I mean, he's already running it. So, and he just, I think, we don't know for sure, but I suspect he just was late to put in his, because last time we were like, hey, what's going on?
Right,
Well,
and
he
so
has
he
an
did
application.
submit, but he
got an
only submitted
application.
for
But he
one, not both, to your point,
The
right?
last time?
No, remember there's the HDC, the Historic District Commission, and the Design
But he was
Review Board.
both.
That's the one where usually there's the
Right.
same people on. He only
both.
submitted for HDC, but I think.
No,
the
Michael
application-
Willoughby submitted for both.
He
I'm talking
submitted for
about
both.
the last meeting when we appointed somebody and we saw that he was not
Okay,
putting his name in
you're right.
for either one, but there was no explanation.
You're right.
And so now it's pretty clear he just,
So, Mr.
Wants to
Motel,
be on.
if the commission moved, and it seems like we will, to reappoint Mr. Willoughby to hit both of his positions, would you be willing to reapply later for the next meeting, for the Design Review Board?
Sure. Yeah,
Right, that would be awesome, because we could certainly use your expertise there.
I appreciate it.
All right, so could we have is there any questions for Mr. Motel other than,
I would say I appreciate you coming here on a, 4:30 on a weekday, when you probably have more important things.
I've always been told that, unlike some others, I am extremely busy, but the busier I am, the better outcomes I'd create, just because I'm more efficient, and, hey, I could make a 4:30 meeting.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
So do we have a nomination for Historic District Commission? Commissioner
I'd like
Haig.
to nominate Mr. Michael Willoughby to serve on the Historic District Commission, to serve the remainder of a 3-year term to expire September 25th, 2028.
All in favor of Mr. Willoughby?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we move to Design Review Board. We also have just Mr. Willoughby as an applicant for a regular member to serve the remainder of a 3-year term expiring September 25th, 2028. Could we have a nomination? Mr. Haig.
I'll do the same thing. So to appoint Mr. Michael Willoughby to as a regular member of the Design Review Board to serve the remainder of a 3-year term to expire September 25th, 2028.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right. That concludes appointments for this evening, so Ms. Bingham will swear everyone who's in the room in. And we congratulate you and thank you all for your service.
Those of you that are here, can you stand up? And you raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of this state, and endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of the affairs of Birmingham, free from partisan distinction or control, and to perform the duties of the office of Museum Board, Advisory Parking Committee, and Board of Zoning Appeals according to the best of my ability. I'm going to have you each sign and print. So you're going to sign and print, I'll fill in the rest.
Sign it and print.
Sign first,
And
print underneath. Just because some signatures might be challenging to read at times. Not yours, though. You really have
Former school teacher.
you're going to sign and print. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and so you are certainly all free to go, though you're welcome to stay if you'd like, but I understand it's a busy afternoon, and thank you again for your willingness to serve. All right, now we move to open to the public for matters not on the agenda. If you'd like to make a comment for an item that is not on this afternoon's agenda, you can come to the microphone and state your name and address and make a comment limited to approximately 3 minutes. If you're not in the room and you'd like to make a comment, you can use the raise your hand function online and we will call on you.
Rick Brodsky.
Yes, I see no one in the room, and online we have Mr. Richard Brodsky.
Hey, everyone. Hey, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Brodsky.
Excellent. Well, I just wanted to say hello and first congratulate everyone for having Wimbledon Phase 1 underway. And I have been trying to keep track of when different meetings are happening for Wimbledon Phase 2. And it seems like October 27th may be the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
What I was hoping to just raise today briefly is the great news of the new road funding bill and what looks to be $900,000 in additional funding for Birmingham for each of the next 5 years. And that was more than we had anticipated and talked about in the prior discussions before Wimbledon Phase 1. So it seems like great news all around. I was just hoping to find out from you all, and this can be something that, I just want to put on your radar so we can discuss it at the next meeting, but how that additional funding may affect and go toward Wimbledon Phase 2 and future improvements for other streets in Poplar Park and beyond. I mean, it's a ton of money, and it seems really promising that this could relieve the huge burden on residents. So I'm happy to discuss today as you all would like, but I'd love it if the board had, if the commission had some thoughts come the next big meeting, because I think it's just a really crucial development.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Brodsky. We do not engage in back and forth during public comment. We are certainly following that bill closely. The governor has yet to sign it, and we will hopefully have more information before October 27th. Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we move to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion and approved by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a commissioner or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered under the last item of new business. Do any commissioners wish to pull any items from the consent agenda? Mayor Pro Tem Baller?
J.
Commissioner Haig?
C. Charlie.
Anything, Commissioner Long?
No.
Anything on this end of the? All right, could we have a motion then?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exceptions of items C and J.
All right, Ms. Bingham. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, Commissioner Host. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bowler,
Yes.
Commissioner Emmerine.
Yes.
Commissioner Anthony Long.
Yes.
Commissioner Haig.
Yes.
Commissioner Host.
Yes.
Mayor Therese Long.
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
All right, thank you. In alphabetical order, Commissioner Haig. Item C.
Okay, thank you. In new business 09-276-25, I didn't see in the bulleted points that there were 2 residents offered to support the build-up of the community survey because of their background. I just wanted to make sure that we did capture that offer because we did say that at least one of them would be gratefully received as helping. Page 5 of 5C, by the way.
All right.
Okay. We'll review and make that correction.
Thank you. That was all I had. So motion to approve item 5C with the noted amendment.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, Commissioner Baller, item J.
So Paul Cannell's been on the Greenwood Cemetery Advisory Board for a lot of years. I'm not sure how many. He's a very valuable member. We have multiple board. He's resigning because he's apparently moved out of Birmingham to live in an adjacent community, I think.
Commerce.
Pardon?
Looks like commerce in the signature.
Yeah. Says he would like to remain in a consultatory role. We have other boards where I don't know if he would want to belong to the board if we allowed non-residents. There are some boards that allow non-residents or a certain number of non-residents. I don't know the reasoning why some boards allow and some don't. I mean, I can guess at it, but the Greenwood Cemetery Advisory Board in my brain might be one that we might consider allowing non-residents, especially when they have the qualifications that he does. So I have no problem accepting his resignation at this point, but I wonder about my colleagues' views toward either accepting his offer to continue to consult or changing is it an ordinance or whatever we have that established the Greenwood Cemetery Advisory Board so that it allows non-resident participation.
City Manager Ecker?
Well, it is an ordinance. We would have to amend the ordinance. That's usually how the boards are and the committees are established. And you're correct. Most boards require you to be a resident, but not all. There are some that require a majority of the board members to be residents, and so on. So we could consider changing that language if you are interested. In terms of being a consultant to the board, it's a meeting that's open to the public, so he could certainly attend any time and provide his input regardless. We have, and Alex, you can help me out here, we did have a contract with the cemetery expert, and I believe we're still working with them, correct?
So Sherry Arcombe is our contractor,
Right.
and yes, she advises us all the time, and she's the one
So-
who helps with coordinating burials, installation, maintenance work.
She's the only one we pay as a consultant for that board, so we don't have necessarily any other funds in the budget to hire additional consultants, but he could certainly come and contribute. We'd welcome that.
So this is, may I? May I?
Yes.
This is your board, correct? You're the staff?
We actually talked about this topic on Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, so I would ask you, go ahead, and I'd be interested to know your opinion of his contribution to the board. Am I accurate in saying that he's been a valuable member of the board?
Yes, he's a valued member of the board. The last two meetings, he participated as our public comment, because we don't usually get public comment, but he was welcome. He made his public comments. On our agenda on Friday, last Friday, I gave the board 3 options about how to increase participation. And that was considering a different date and time, because Friday morning doesn't work for everybody, but it works for some. They want to keep their Friday morning time. I asked them if they wanted to shrink their board to lower their quorum, because right now we have 4 ladies that must show up for the meeting to be able to be held. They didn't want to shrink the board. They also the consensus was they didn't want to expand, because I asked them if they wanted me to ask Mary to prepare new ordinance amendment language in the nature of allowing 1 or 2 persons outside the city if they had certain requirements, like professional requirements that would be useful to the board. The consensus, about 3 out of the 4 were in favor of keeping it as is and trying to recruit residents. So that was the consensus of the 3 out of the 4 members of the board at the time. But you can always direct the ordinance change if you want to. That was just their perspective.
So if I were to make a motion, I would move that we accept his resignation and direct staff to call Mr. Cannell and first determine if he would want to serve if we opened it up to non-residents. And then, if he did, research why it's not open.
I think that's stepping outside the boundaries, and that comes up for items for new.
Right.
And so you're going to have to go through the process for that.
Whatever.
And that's adding to
Yeah.
the workload that we've already talked about.
So we could certainly, informally ascertain his interest, but in the meantime, the resolution.
What if we didn't accept his resignation?
I don't think we have any choice but to accept his resignation.
At will.
Yes, we have to accept his resignation.
more?
Quite honestly, we just put it on the agenda so that they are recognized for
Right.
their service.
He has resigned and he has moved, so he is resigned.
It was a joke.
Yes, but, all right, so you made the motion. Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any approved? Any opposed? I see none. All right. So we move to the city manager's report. We have none. We move to unfinished business. We have a resolution to approve posting the request for proposals, the professional owner's representative to explore public-private partnership opportunities on Mitten.
Yes, and as you recall, I brought this to you back on September 15th, and we had a draft RFP. There was some discussion amongst the commission. I think overall, the commission was in favor of it. You had a few changes. You asked us to make sure that the consultant that we hired, the representative, would not go out and solicit developers to come in and give us proposals, that they would only review those that you directed them to consider and review. You asked us to change it so that they are required to represent the city exclusively and that they cannot accept any monetary compensation from developers, for instance, as part of a deal if they brought a developer, which kind of changes with they're not going to bring us developers anymore. You also asked us to change it to state that they had to follow our code of ethics. And to be clear that the city commission had the final decision-making power in anything. So they would be our owner's rep, so to speak, and they would give you guidance, they would review proposals, and they would give you guidance, but ultimately the decision-making authority would still be up to the city commission. Commissioner Haig had also asked for a few minor changes, which we did incorporate, except for, I think, 2 or 3 because we couldn't quite get it to fit.
That's fine. I mean, it was observations. That was all. Thank you.
And just to clarify, it's a 3-year term that we're proposing. So the only other things that changed were, we changed the dates because we were proposing to post it in September. Now it would be posted, if you agree, later this week with a due date of November 21st, with the anticipation that we would hire this person, should you decide to proceed, in January of 2026. As we mentioned at the last meeting, this was not planned in the budget for the current fiscal year. So if you decide to move forward for this and we issue the RFP, if we get responses in and we decide we want to hire one of them, we would have to do a budget amendment based on the cost. And it's basically, you can see in the RFP, it's the same as it was last time, which is a per hour fee.
Mayor Pro Tem.
So 2 things. One is with regard to exclusivity, it needs to be crystal clear. I don't think we're saying that this person couldn't represent another community right?
Correct.
So when they represent us, they are representing us exclusively.
They're not also
Right.
in partnership with a
Okay, as long as
developer
that's very
who's
clear.
paying them.
As long as
Right.
that's very clear. Second thing is, I got a message on one of the social media platforms. Somebody was asking me why I was suggesting that we develop Springdale Golf Course, I think. And I want to make it clear, this isn't about Springdale Golf Course or the other golf course. It's flowing from our experience with North Old Woodward. And when I think about that project, I think that we could have gotten more had we done a better job with the public-private partnership. The other, when I think about this, and this is just me, I think of the other parking decks as potential places where we could see some development. With anything but North Old Woodward, in my mind, we would have to be willing to accept density greater than what we have in the D4. So right now, our city's zoned 4 stories with a 5th for residential. If you took, for example, the Peabody parking deck and said, what could we get there, right? If we allowed a developer to tear it down and build something new, and we want additional parking, that might be all we could hope for there. But we would allow a developer to put in, I don't know, residential or something. I think it's pretty clear we'd have to let them go higher than 5 stories. I think we should enter into this, move forward in this process, if we are moving forward, and I think we should, accepting that that's possible, that proposals will come in where we're being asked to allow more than the 5 stories, because we're going to get something in return. The value is in the air rights, the airspace. And since these are zoned now public property, PP, it is possible that the commission could allow greater density on those properties. That's what I want to say. That's all I want to say. I still think we should move forward with this, but you should know that we're probably not going to get proposals that are going to give us any significant benefit that conform to current D4 zoning, or even D5.
Commissioner Long.
I want to make clear that I'm in favor of this because I think it's our responsibility as a commission to explore these type of arrangements for the benefit of the residents. That's all we're doing, is exploring at this point. This is not slated for any particular city-owned property. It's not slated for a golf course or a library or any other or a park or anything else right now. Zero thought process with regard to that. Let's explore this. Then the first step is to do what we're doing today, and it may go no further. We may spend little or no hours on it, but it also would be really detrimental to this city and the residents that we serve not to at least explore it, which is all we are doing.
Any
at
other
least
comments?
from my view.
Commissioner Haig, I'll let you go
Go
first.
ahead.
No, I was going to say, I agree that should anybody want to bring a proposal to the city that's a public-private partnership that has significant public benefit, and I personally didn't believe that North Old Woodward did have enough public benefit, we need a point person who is an expert in analyzing and making recommendations to us, and that's all that this would do. Commissioner Haig.
Kind of a similar set of thoughts. So, I mean, also for disclosure, I was on the other side of the North Old Woodward with the information I had at the time, and I actually am glad it didn't happen with hindsight. So, there's a declaration for you. To the rather specific example that Mayor Pro Tem Balla brought up, which is a rather in-depth specific example, the implication there is that this is not as, inverted commas, straightforward as a partnership. It involves ordinance and zoning changes, which is not an insignificant undertaking. And it's also outside of the scope of what we just kicked off with the planning board with the zoning streamlining. But if we were to go down a pathway that would investigate modifications, it would have to be brought into that, which is almost a restart of that particular exercise because it changes the entire perspective for at least downtown. So proposals are going to be interesting, but if it touches anything to do with zoning, I think we all need to be extremely clear that that's not going to be a quick process. That could be a multi-year process all by itself, simply because of the amount of change that it potentially could bring in and the amount of public comment we're going to need to bring into that discussion. So thank you for highlighting that, but it does also put an additional wrinkle into it that I don't think we've actually actively discussed.
Ms. Ecker.
Just wanted to add a comment that the PP properties that are zoned public property don't have to follow all of the same height rules, so there is a little more flexibility from the commission's perspective as to what height you would like to see there. Also, if it was in the downtown overlay district and it was zone C for community use, there's also negotiation built right into that category, which they can negotiate height with the planning board as well. That has been there for, I don't know, 20-plus years, rarely used, but it is there.
Right, but this conversation is outside the scope of this agenda item, which is merely to move this RFP forward. And then anything else that comes down the road, whatever we get in front of us, these discussions would be appropriate, but they are not tied to this agenda item today.
Correct. They're not tied to it, but it's probably fair that anybody that looks at this information knows that that's part of what may have to happen, though. It's just disclosure to me.
All right. So any other comment? And if not, could we have a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'd like to make a motion adopting a resolution to approve posting the request for proposals for professional owners representative to explore public-private partnership opportunities on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I think Commissioner Schaefer was first. Any commission discussion on the motion? Any public discussion on the motion in the room or using that raise your hand function?
Bill Kolb, 411 South Old Woodward. I'm going to make the same comment I did at the last commission meeting. I wouldn't put out a contract RFP that says hourly rate. I'd do fixed fee and agree for overrun hourly rate only. Hourly rates are very fluid, and you always end up paying more than you should. So I would say you can do fixed fee or you can do hourly, and then you guys evaluate it, but I wouldn't leave it an hourly rate. I just think it exposes us to spending a lot of money, maybe unnecessarily.
Thank you. Any other comment? All right. Ms. Bingham, roll call vote.
Commissioner Emmerine?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Mayor Teresa?
Yes. Thank you. All right, now we move to new business. Our first item of business is a public hearing for the condemnation of a dangerous structure at 611 Elm Street. So I'm going to open the public hearing at 5:14 PM and ask for comment from Ms. Gaudenzi.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. This was the date and time scheduled for this public hearing. Unfortunately, there was an issue with notice, given that the normal time for the commissioner meeting is at 7:30. Unfortunately, the notice went out for 7:30 instead of 4:30. So in order to conform with notice requirements, we're asking for, it should be postponed.
Thank you. And is anyone related to 611 Elm Street in the room who would like to make a comment, either in the room or online using the raise your hand function? I see none. Is there any questions or comments from the public about this item this evening? I see none in the room. I see none online. Therefore, I'm going to close the public hearing at 5:15 PM, and I'm going to ask, or I'm going to, I suppose I can make myself, we've postponed the public hearing regarding the condemnation of a dangerous structure at 611 Elm Street to allow for proper notification, and I move that we identify a date certain of the next regular city commission meeting on 10/27/2025 at the normal meeting time of 7:30 PM.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion, comments at the commission? Any comments from the public, either in room or using the raise your hand function? I see none. Roll call vote or?
You don't need it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so this item will be heard This public hearing then has been postponed until the next regular meeting on Monday, October 27th at 7:30 PM. We now move to new business item B, resolution approving the settlement agreement dated October 1st, 2025 between the city and the Birmingham Police Command Officers Association. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. So I am coming with the Birmingham Command Officers Association Settlement Agreement. This union represents 7 full-time ranked captains and lieutenants at the police department. The primary features of this agreement are a 3-year contract extending through June 30th of 2028, wage adjustments of 3.5% for this year, 4% for next year, 3.5% the year following, an additional optional 5% employer contribution to the 401A with the employee contribution to their 457, increases to long-term disability and life insurance coverage, the addition of Juneteenth and an additional personal day for vacation accrual calculations, $25 increase in holiday premium pay for working on specific holidays, $150 increase for annual uniform allowance, language adjustments to be in compliance with the Earned Sick Time Act, and waiving the required waiting period for short-term disability for the purpose of childbirth recovery. The impact of this will be about $74,000 for this current budget year, and this was budgeted in the wage adjustment account this previous budget workaround. Is there any specific questions or anything that can help?
Do any commissioners have any questions about this presentation?
Are the impacts for subsequent years roughly similar?
Yes.
Thank you very much. If there's no further questions, would someone like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion. So to make a motion adopting a resolution approving the settlement agreement dated October 1st, 2025 between the City and Birmingham Police Command Officers Association for a renewal of the collective bargaining agreement through June 30th, 2028. Further, to authorize the transfer of funds in the wage adjustment account 101.0.272.000-709.0000 to the appropriate accounts.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments on the motion at the commission? Any comments on the motion from the public or in the room? You can come to the microphone or use the raise your hand function. I see none, so Ms. Bingham, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Emmerine?
Yes.
Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Commissioner Post?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Anthony Long?
Yes.
Mayor Teresa?
Yes. Thank you. All right, now we move to new business C, resolution to approve an agreement with MCD Architects for the design of the police department renovations and an expansion in an amount not to exceed $80,000. Chief Gruey.
Yes, good evening. I'm here in front of you today to ask for your approval for an agreement with MCD Architects for some projects in the police department. These construction projects were discussed at both the long-range planning and the budget meetings earlier this year. And these are basically as a result of accreditation that we've done. I know you've all heard about that. We've been accredited and reaccredited, and at both of those, the assessors on site had concerns about our safety and security of the police department that were noted in our accreditation reports, which could affect future accreditation processes. So many of the things that we're doing through here is to address those safety and security concerns that were noted. We completed an RFP. That RFP was posted in July. We had 25 companies that showed up at our pre-bid meeting. Now, not all those companies were architectural firms. Some of them were like HVAC companies or window companies that were coming to hear the project. In the end, we did receive 4 proposals. We are asking that MCD be approved, not only because of being a low bid, but also because of their references and their work history with the City of Birmingham, with the Baldwin Public Library most recently. The 4 projects that we are looking to do would be to build an interview room in our clerical area of our police department, a garage expansion over at the DPS yards that will be used for garage and evidence storage, a sally port that will be built for secure prisoner transports into our building, and also an expansion of our dispatch center. The principal architect of MCD, Steve Sheenman, is here as well. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, and he'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for either Chief Gui or Mr. Sheeman from the commission? Commissioner Host.
Actually, it's a comment. I'm just thankful we're doing this. We could have done it 2.5 years ago, and we should have, but today is great.
Commissioner Haig.
Is this all you need? Because I keep thinking about, we've heard about things down in the basement area, and honestly, if we're going to be doing something, is there anything else that you want to add? Now, obviously not tonight, but the way I look at it is we started this ball rolling.
Sure.
Let's try and improve everything if we can in the incremental stages we're looking at.
Sure. This definitely addresses all our immediate needs and some of our more long-term needs as well with our dispatch expansion and our garage space storage, evidence space storage. So I'll certainly come back to you if there's any other additional needs that we have.
Please do.
For sure.
Thank you.
Commissioner Long.
Just that I agree with Commissioner Host. It's well overdue, and we support you guys, and come back if you need more.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah. So first, could you explain the expansion of the dispatch? Is it expanding within the building?
Within the building, yes. Directly behind our dispatch center is an IT closet, I would say, or a storage room for dispatch. A lot of our equipment now has gone cloud space, or cloud. So we're getting rid of a lot of the servers that are there, and what's remaining is going to go in the city room, so we're going to expand that area.
So the only expansion that you're anticipating that goes beyond the walls of current City Hall is the Sally
The Sally Port, correct.
Okay. So when we did our tour of City Hall, it was really apparent that the rest of City Hall had, not including the police, had significant space issues, and that in the plan that was presented to us to build a new building behind City Hall, that would move the police out and make enough room so that all the other departments could expand. Am I on the right track here?
That is the plan that
Okay.
we didn't move forward with,
Okay.
but you
So-
discussed.
And ever since that time, it's been clear, I have believed that I never recall anyone on the commission saying, we don't want to build a new police station. What I heard us say was, we're surprised by the size and scope and location of the proposed expansion, that we weren't crazy about seeing it behind City Hall and costing $26 million without more discussion, more exploration of alternatives. If there was exploration of alternatives, it didn't happen here. And now we're doing this, which is not going to solve any problems for the other departments in City Hall. So what happened? And why aren't we, I mean, if you asked, there are a lot of things you could ask the public to pay for. And if you went to them and said, we really need a new police department and we need to expand City Hall, it hasn't been renovated in eons, whatever. That's something that might get some traction with the tax-paying public. I'm puzzled. I mean, I attended those meetings and I heard what went on, and I expect to hear more about alternatives that would get these guys a new modern facility somewhere.
Okay, so to answer your question, my recollection from all of those meetings was that we weren't ready to move forward with such a large, expansive, expensive project because we had other priorities. And so we wanted to break it down into smaller steps and address the issues as we could. So we started with the security issues within City Hall, which if you notice, those new wall partitions are up, if you want to look around at those tonight. The security system hasn't been put on it yet. That'll be another couple of weeks, but we're moving forward with that, and that's why we divided this up into several projects, because we did not feel there was an appetite politically at the time to move forward with a large project. I will say that there was some discussion in the background about other alternatives. When we talked about 400 East Lincoln, we talked about, well, could we somehow incorporate a police station over there? There was, and this was all just low-key discussion. I mean, it wasn't a formal proposal. We talked about, I know Chief Gruey had pitched an idea for the North Old Woodward area for a new police station there. We talked about, in fact, I don't know if it was you that brought it up, but Springdale Golf Course. Somebody did bring it up about putting it over at Springdale Golf Course. We also talked about converting one of the public parking lots here between the Townsend Hotel and the community house, and we had done some rough drawings to see what was feasible. But in all cases, the cost was going to be so high that we felt it would have been in the same situation that we were in last time when we came to you, and it was too big a project. We have too many other priorities. Let's break it up and let's address what we can. In the meantime, of course, as the chief pointed out, with our next accreditation coming up, if we don't show some progress moving forward, that could affect our scoring and accreditation there. So this does allow us to address some of those issues. Keep in mind what he's discussing today is the design of all 4 of those items. If you remember, during the budgeting process, we talked about designing them and then doing 2 of them, the interview room and the storage facility over at DPS in the first year. The Sally Port, I think, was in the second year, and I think was dispatch in the same year as the Sally Port, or one more year out?
Correct. Next
Same
fiscal
year. To try to spread it out so that we wouldn't have to go to the vote of the people for a bond, that we would try to do it in the course of our regular budget.
Okay, so a couple more questions. One would be, what about the rest of City Hall and all the other departments? And the other would be, what about all the deferred maintenance on City Hall and the mechanicals and the brickwork and
We continue to
all
have-
sorts of stuff that was included in that project?
We continue to have those issues, and one of the things that our new building official is charged with is coming up with a comprehensive list of all of the mechanical and HVAC equipment throughout the whole building and determining what comes up, what on a first priority basis needs to move forward. So he's working on that right now. And you've seen, again, the similar approach taken in the budget for this year and the coming years to pick the what we believe are the higher priority HVAC items. Doesn't address everything. We're trying to pick away at it without having to come out with a $30 million project.
So this, and the space requirements of the other departments not going to be addressed?
No.
Any idea how much, at the end of the day, we're going to spend on these items that are to be designed?
The ones that we're talking about tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's all in the budget. The Sally Port was $450,000.
Yeah, so
Was I correct? And
the garage, that's the garage and the interview room are already approved in this year's budget.
Current.
The garage, I think, was $250,000. The interview room was about $50,000.
It was 50, and then Sally Port's shown as 100,000 in the 25-26 budgeted amounts,
Right,
according to this package.
right.
Correct. So the other thing, just to, I guess, put you at ease a little bit, is when we looked at these projects too, some of the other things that were thought about was, if there was to ever be a police department, which of course I would love, it would be fantastic, that this garage space would allow, we would still need this garage space, and would allow us to take that away from whatever we build, because we could still utilize the space in DPS. The other part of that is that if we were to build a police department and had the garage space, DPS could certainly use the additional garage space, as a lot of their equipment is still stored outside as well. So the building the garage over there could serve multiple purposes in the future if there was to be a new police department. The other thing, the interview room and the dispatch expansion are smaller projects that come with a smaller price tag. So there's things that we can do now to address some of our safety and security. The interview room is going to keep us from having to transport prisoners through public spaces. It's a small cost to address a lot of those security issues. The Sallyport, part of the reason we put the Sallyport as the last project was simply because of this. If something came up that we were going to build a police department, we'd have time to consider whether or not we want to add a Sallyport here. So it's a little bit further down the road in terms of how we move forward with these projects.
Right.
So that thought was part of how we were planning this stuff out.
Right, and there are policy questions that remain about whether the entire police department would move off-site and what that does to the safety and security of City Hall, or whether they would exist in two places. And so I don't think that any of the projected expenditures would be wasted, while we continue to strategize about the future.
Thank you.
Commissioner Long.
So this goes back to, what's the appetite of the commission? What's the appetite of the community? This building needs to be remodeled. It's way overdue. Our police station is every year in danger of not being accredited, as amazing as they are. We owe them a better facility than what they have, and if you don't believe me, go and ask for a tour. We have to find a place for next. And we have to figure out what we're going to do with the roads. So whether we wrap this all up into one bond, whether we do this individually or what have you, it's going to need to be done, whether it's now or whatever. And I hope Commissioner Baller doesn't say 2 years from now. I wish it would have been done earlier, but I'm glad it's being done now as he did tonight. So I think we all need to be thinking about what our appetite is and what the citizens' appetite is to get these things done that are much needed. And meanwhile, the casualty of the thinking about it and going about doing it is the expenditures that we're doing now, which cannot wait because we can't endanger our police force of not being accredited when they get their next inspection. So the necessary evil of putting off these major decisions and moving forward with them is what's happening right now. So whether or not, and I think we're going about it as smart as we can because we're trying not to be like, well, we're just throwing that money out because we know a year from now or 15 months from now or what have you, we're going to be doing a new building or new location or what have you. We talked about moving this space downstairs to where the police is and moving the police out somewhere, whether it was across the parking lot or across town or what have you, and the discussions involved with that. So all of these things are going to be coming up in the future. And unless and until we reach either a bond proposal or what have you, we're going to be doing these interim fixes that are costing the city money. And I understand your question and your concern with regard to trying to avoid doing that. It would be nice, but I don't know if it's possible.
Commissioner Haig.
Generally, I agree with what's been said about we can't do everything all in one bite. I got no problem with making the motion for this right now. The only one thing I would actually ask is for the other spaces or for the space net that Commissioner Bauer was talking about, could we get an idea of that for the future so that we can at least start noodling things through a little bit more concisely as well? Just
You mean for other departments?
Just the general space discussion. We've had the space discussion. We saw the large plan, and honestly, it was overwhelming at the time to read through that. If we could get kind of some summary of...
It had space requirements.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's now been refined because of what we're doing here. And also some of the other suggestions. If we get an idea of what the additional space asks are, just condensed down, that would be very helpful. It's not critical for right now. But other than that, I'm fine with this. I'll make the motion if you want.
Please.
Okay. Then to make a motion adopting a resolution to approve an agreement with MCD Architects for the design of a police department renovations and expansion in an amount not to exceed $80,000, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city to be funded from the following accounts. $72,000 from account 403.901.301-977.0000 and $8,000 from account 101.0-301.000-971.0100.
Second.
All right, the motion is second. Any commission comments on the motion? Any public comments on the motion, either in the room or online using the raise your hand function? I see none, so Ms. Bingham, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Schaefer? Yes. Commissioner Haig?
Yes.
Commissioner Host?
Yes.
Commissioner Emmerine?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ballard?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Mayor Long?
Yes. Thank you. We now move to commission items for future discussion. A motion is required to bring up the item for future discussion at the next reasonable agenda. No discussion of the topic will happen tonight. Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Ballard.
Do we care about the Greenwood Cemetery Advisory Board? I would say, do we want to talk about expanding it to allow non-residents?
Commissioner Haig.
Do we care? Yes. Do we also care about adding workload to city staff on top of other workload that's been requested? Also, yes.
Commissioner Host.
Yeah, I think before we do that, we ought to ask Mr. Cannell if he's interested.
That was my suggestion earlier, but I was told that I should bring it up now. So would you like to make the motion that we direct the staff to ask Mr.
I don't
Cannell?
think we need a motion.
Well, hold on a second, if I may. I have no problem with the motion. I have no problem with asking him. But I do have a problem with making a precedent that we have somebody who's stepping off a board who's not a, and that now we're like making a special spot for him if he's interested. We either want to open a spot open for somebody in the public, or we don't, whether it's for him or for somebody else. And I think we need to explore that, the yes and no, because I don't, as I'm sitting here right now, I don't know what the thought process is as to why we'd want everybody to be a resident for this particular board. And I'd like to be educated on that before we make that jump.
Totally agree. I didn't suggest that we do this for him, but
just wanna
clearly
make-
that would be the result.
Yeah,
Right.
And the result is fine, but I think the process needs to be, I would like to, I don't know about the rest of you, but I would like to be educated as with regard to this specific board, if it's not open to Birmingham residents, it's for non-Birmingham residents, which it sounds like it isn't, why? And once we get the why, then I think we can go from there.
We may not be able to get that answer.
I mean,
Okay.
that's the way it was set up.
Yeah.
That's the way the ordinance
It was-
reads.
Well, that's helpful too.
We can get background and the ordinance
Right.
language and
Right.
the history of
Yeah.
it, but as to the why,
Yeah.
can't necessarily answer that question.
Okay, fair, well, that's helpful in and of itself, that's helpful.
All right, so that just sounds like a staff report down the line when you have time to get to it.
Okay.
And in the meantime, Mr. Cannell has been invited to continue to participate and offer his opinion as a member of the public. So, all right, any other items for future discussion? All right, seeing none, we move to commission discussion on items from a prior meeting. We have none.
Madam Mayor, I have a question. When are we going to do the roads workshop?
Well, the mayor and I speak about this on a regular basis. The problem
Good
is.
for you two.
The problem is that right now we have very little time and an election coming up. So, and the reason I say that that matters is, one, with all of the religious holidays in September and October, there are so few dates left to be able to fit in a workshop that it's really hard to do. First of all. Second of all, the workshop in November is generally the introductory meeting and the changing of the guard, so to speak, with a thank you to the
Right.
commissioners that are leaving and a welcome to the commissioners that are coming. Thank you to the mayor, election of a new mayor, et cetera. So right now in the queue, we have, if you remember, I forget the resident's name right now, but the gentleman that came and talked about
About the trees, yep.
that wanted us to do a workshop on trees. We have the workshop on roads and infrastructure, and we do have Commissioner Baller's but discussion about a capital improvement planning strategy. We have that all, in the works and coming along and probably about 75-80% complete. We were thinking and hoping we could tie that in with the roads workshop. Then we have the election coming up, which is going to take up the November timeframe.
Right. So Commissioner Host, the city manager and I discussed that normally this meeting would have been the meeting that had the workshop in front of it. We thought it was unfair to the general public and burdensome to the commissioners to try to hold a workshop at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is why there was no workshop in front of this meeting today when there normally would one, because of the 4:30 start time. As she said, the November workshop is the reorganization of the commission, and so that would place it either an extra workshop in November, though that bumps into the holidays, or a December workshop. So, and by then, there will be a new commission informing those decisions, and as Mr. Brodsky said, potential sources of new funding to consider, so.
Don't we also have to be concerned about the multimodal board, where there was a discussion of having a joint meeting with them as well?
Correct, we do.
And I do have an
That's the
update on
list.
that. The multimodal board has scheduled, or staff has scheduled a date for them to have their one meeting to discuss what their recommendations and thoughts are that they want to pass along to you at a joint meeting, and that's proposed for October 23rd. Not the joint meeting.
No.
Just them to have their-
single meeting that's
Correct.
in the meeting minutes.
Correct. So there would be a joint meeting that would be coming up as well, as the mayor pointed out, with the multimodal board. Presumably after there's a new commission seated, so I'm going to say November or December.
Yep. Commissioner Long.
Make one other comment, just going back to the boards and whether you need to be a resident or not. If we're going to look at that for that one particular board, maybe we should look at it for any of the boards that we might have an appetite to open up, for the reason of maybe it's always been done that way, but, maybe we're missing out on some really talented people that are willing to donate their time, which is really important. So maybe we don't just limit it to that board, maybe, and not to put more stress on the staff, but maybe, let's not do it piecemeal, is my point. Like, if there's more than one board. If it's just the one, fine, but I just wanted to make the comment that let's just try and get any and all brought forward for our consideration if we're going to do the one.
Are we discussing that?
No, I don't think so.
We're not.
No,
That's got to wait.
No, we're not discussing.
Because it's a discussion in itself.
yeah.
So there's a reason why.
All right, so, communications, 400, we have letters for 400 East Lincoln, and we have a letter for the Cerno project, and I'll let Ms. Ecker opine on the mutually agreeable compromises that have been reached.
Yes, if you recall, when we talked about the construction staging agreement and there was going to be some parking spaces that were going to be used, we talked about, should we charge for the parking? And then we had some concerns about Tallulah Restaurant and impacts on them and others. So as you know, you did approve that construction staging agreement, but you did ask us to go out and have the owner, the developer, which is Mr. Cernow, go and meet with the owner of Tallulah. What we did was we actually assisted in that process. So we brought the Cernow group in and we talked to them. We brought their project, their actual construction manager that's going to be on site, as well as Mr. Cernow. We brought him in. We said, here's the site. What can you do? Here's the concerns. What are some options that you can do? It's a very tough site because it's constrained, right? It's got land, it's got roads on three sides and a building right up beside it on the other side. Plus there's a historic building that's located there and you can't swing a crane over that historic building, but you need to get a crane in there to be able to build the addition to the north side. Then we also brought in Mario from Tallulah. After, he sent an email around and we talked to him about all of the issues. And we talked to him about some of the site constraints and we gave him more detail on what was involved in the construction staging agreement. I think there were some things he wasn't aware of. For instance, the northbound lanes on Bates between the alley and Maple were actually going to be open every evening after 4 o'clock. It was closed during the day because that's the area where the crane swings over, and we are required for safety reasons to close that off. But they agreed that they would stop that at 4 o'clock p.m. So some of the things that were decided on the Cernow group agreed to pay for 2 public parking spaces on a block south on Bates to allow for deliveries for Tallulah during the construction period of the project when the deck is still there, Tallulah's dining deck is still there. One of the concerns was the deliveries. Right now, Tallulah, all their deliveries, they come and they just stop right in the street and they bring in all the food and the wine and so on, and it blocks up the street. So the concern is between the platform and the closing down of one of the directions of traffic, would there be complete gridlock? So the Surnow group agreed to do that. Mario from Tallulah liked that and agreed with that. We also agreed, as mentioned, that the lane to the north would be opened up after 4 o'clock. Surnow Group also agreed not to allow any construction traffic to use any of the parking spaces right on the south and north side of the dining deck. That was a concern of Tallulah's as well. They wanted to keep at least those spaces open and not have them clogged up with construction vehicles. The Surnow Group also offered to do some graphic design elements on their screen wall, which would be immediately visible if you were sitting on the Tallulah deck staring at what would be the screening to enclose the construction zone. In addition, the Surnow Group offered to give free use of their parking lot at 550 West Merrill, which is a block up, which has an additional 35, I believe, parking spaces that they will allow Tallulah to use that every evening and on weekends to do some sort of valet system. There was a negotiation between the owner of Tallulah and the Surnow Group, and Mr. Surnow is here tonight if you want to ask him any questions, that they did agree that they're going to split some of the costs for a valet and park the cars over there at that lot. So that's kind of what we worked out to make everybody happy. One last thing, we also agreed that Tallulah would talk to their trash people and have them come and pick up their trash prior to 7 a.m. so that they wouldn't be blocking up any area or the alley entrance when that northbound lane is closed, because that northbound lane would only be closed from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Host.
can I ask the city manager about the 17 parking spots that are going away?
They're not going away. There are several that'll be used for construction staging on Martin and on Bates and on Maple because it's a tight site. Are we charging for it? No. If you recall, you asked that we go back and look and see if we had charged in the past. And I think I sent an email around to all of you that at least for the last 10 or 15 years, we have not charged for those. We do charge if it's for outdoor dining platforms. We do charge if it's a valet taking up those spaces. We have not charged for construction staging. Apparently, there is, former Chief Clements recalls a time pre-Paul O'Meara. So I'm going to go ahead and say 15, 20 years ago when we did used to do that and that process stopped. But we haven't done that yet. And I think if that's something you want to do, it makes complete sense to me. If we're charging for the use of a spot, it should be for all use because it's taking it out of the public realm, right? The public can't use that space. I think it would be consistent to do that regardless of the use, whether it's because a private, like sometimes the community house buys a space out front if they know that they have a big speaker in, or the Townsend has a tour bus that they want to bring in, and they'll buy several spaces and they'll pay for them. So that's something that we can certainly do. And it's more of a policy direction, really, because there's already in the fee schedule the capability for us to charge for the use of parking spaces.
So would we need to take any formal action to change that process going forward? I'm assuming we can't do it retroactively, but going forward?
No, I don't think you'd want to do it retroactively, but I think, yes, you could just pass a simple resolution that's saying that's your policy direction, that you want to go forward, and if there's use of parking, that there would be the charge for it. And it's a per day, assuming it's all day, there's a price, and the price is dependent because now that we've changed some of the pricing in some of the on-street parking spaces, some of them are $1 an hour, some of them are $1.25 an hour. So it would depend on where the parking was located, but we would charge the maximum rate as if that parking space was used all day, just like we do for the outdoor dining, the valet, and other rentals.
All right, could you bring that back to us as an agenda item then at the next reasonable opportunity?
Yes, I could do that.
Commissioner Long.
Quick question, the comment and the question. First of all, I just want to recognize Mr. Snow's letter, which I appreciated. So I know he's in the audience. I appreciate it. And appreciate them working with Tallulah. Is the northbound lane going, when you say it's going to be closed, there's still going to be that L-shaped access to the alleyway, correct?
From the south.
From the south.
Yes.
So when you said closed, I was like, wait a second, I want to make sure.
No, just
Not
from the
whole-
alley to Maple.
Perfect. Okay, because we've got,
For the swing of the crane.
yeah, we got condos with
No, you need to
underground
have
parking
access
and
to
whatever.
that
yeah. So
alley.
that's going to have access 24/7.
Business access from the back of the
Correct,
wall.
right,
Yes.
and business access. That's what I wanted to make
Yes.
sure. Okay, great, thank you. Nice job.
All right, any other comments on those communication items? All right, we move to reports. Commissioner reports, we have notice of intention to appoint to the Triangle District Corridor Improvement Authority Board. Commissioner comments? See none. All right, advisory boards, committees, commission reports, and agendas. Legislation, we have none. City staff, we have the comprehensive repair and design improvements to city parking structures, and we have Mr. Ford with us. If any commissioners would like to discuss or have any questions.
And this was just a report that you had asked for earlier.
And this will also be provided to the APC.
Yes.
For their discussion in depth, I'm sure. It shows that the parking fund, which is an enterprise fund, will continue to maintain a healthy balance throughout all of the planned repairs over the next many years. And if there is nothing else, then we have a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
And we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.